Victory for Celtic over Sturm Graz. A much needed 3 points. I think it's fair to say a much improved performance as well. Not all good news though. We did have a multiple injuries picked up that we can discuss. So plenty to discuss with Scott, who's on with me today. And also just a big thanks to Practical CBT for sponsoring this show. If you're a guy looking to get your head in a better place, just like you train on the pitch, Practical CBT have got 10-minute online workouts and coaching sessions that can make a real difference. They've also got a fresh October deal running at the moment, which gives you a 14-day free trial. And also their 12-week men's mental health fitness programme is on special offer to Celtic AM viewers and listeners. It's down to £25 as opposed to £50. So lots to get involved there with Practical CBT. Scott, a win.
A win. It feels like forever. Happy with how that performance unfurled. We created a lot of chances. We dominated possession, and it's good to get the result for all that dominance for a change.
So just going to the starting 11. So the team that Brendan Rodgers named was Schmeichel, Johnston was back in at right back. We had Carter Vickers and Scales in the centre. Tierney maybe surprisingly playing at left back. Thought he did really well, but we can get to that. Midfield was slightly changed. It was McGregor, Hatate, Engels. Negan was still playing. He was on the right. Tenecti on the left. And as I say, Ian Acho through the middle. He lasted, I think, 2-3 minutes. The game had barely kicked off, and Johnny Kenny was coming on. Alistair Johnson went off after 26 minutes. I was just kind of looking for an injury update, Scott, before we came on, because we were just about an hour on from full time, and the best I've got is from Brendan Rodgers to TNT Sports after the game, and he's saying that the first two injuries, so Ian Acho and Johnston, don't look great. He says they look like hamstring injuries. He says that's what happens. Just on Cameron Carter-Vickers as well, because he was seen kind of hobbling off the pitch after full time. Brendan Rodgers saying that Cameron Carter-Vickers was struggling towards the end of the match, but that basically Celtic couldn't make another sub, because as much as you can make 5 subs, you can only make them over 3 intervals throughout the match, and we'd already done that obviously with Ian Acho, Johnston and Balikwisha coming on for Tenecti, so we were unable to bring Carter Vickers off, so he kind of quite literally stumbled over the finishing line, Scott. But we don't have much of an update really on Carter Vickers, but in terms of Ian Acho and Johnston, we'll just get the bad stuff out the way, Scott. That was disappointing, especially I think with Alistair Johnson. Do you think he was rushed back a little bit?
The very first note I made for this match was that it was a risk putting Johnson in after being out for 2 months. I expected maybe you'd get him in for the last 20 minutes and give him a run and just see how he goes. But to go in cold into a European level match, that's a big ask. And we've got Colby Donovan, who has proved he's more than capable sitting on the bench. So that was a risk that clearly is going to cost us dearly, because that's probably going to be another month or two before we see Ali Johnson again.
Well, yeah, quite possibly. I mean, he didn't. The first time when he injured himself against Kairat, he was stretchered off the pitch, wasn't he? He looked in quite a lot of discomfort. To be fair, he was on the touchline. The cameras went to him in the second half. He was kind of having a conversation with James Forrest. So maybe not quite as severe, but I think you're right. I mean, he's not obviously not going to be around for Hearts. I think you'd have doubts, real doubts, massive doubts over the Cup semi against Rangers. I mean, I guess that falls on the manager's door. He's the one that picks the team. Did Brendan get a bit desperate there?
Oh, I think he did. Look, and you can understand it, because this team's been, fans have been calling for this team to have a shake-up because of how stale we looked. And the early signs were positive for the 20-odd minutes he was on, because he was getting long balls up the field, making the field big, putting players in the space. Johnny Kenny creates an opportunity or a half chance off of one of those long passes that he put. So he changed our movement forward. It was positive movement. I think that was a standard that helped set, particularly that first 10, 20 minutes up for Celtic, where we were looking to play forward, and none of this really slow dour stuff. It wasn't breakneck speed, but it was positive movement. Ali Johnson set that tone with his first touch. He's clearly a player that we need for a variety of reasons, not just his playing, but his attitude. He's clearly a character that still has the respect. He's a jokey guy. He's good to have around. So having a guy like that on your bench, in the locker room, back on the pitch, that's some positive energy that we've just not had because we've had this dark cloud over the squad for such a long time. Like I said, Colby Donovan's on the bench. He's proven that he can play the position in Ali's absence. Ralston cannot start on Sunday. He hasn't got the pace or the touch for it. And I think what Donovan offers further up the pitch helps us too, because he's working on those overlaps and underlaps too and creating a different chance. I mean, he's a big player in our second goal. That gets the ball back into the box quickly after a sharp chance was denied. So the kid's got it. Let him play. Brendan, for the love of God, just play him.
First goal, wasn't it? Because he's the one who gets onto the corner and slips it across, and then and Scales slides it in. But that was, I'm sure that was Donovan with the assist there. So, really involved in that. He's very raw, Colby Donovan. I do like him. I like his attitude and what he brings. There's clearly, big parts of his game he can brush up on. But there's a moment in the first half where he gave the ball away, but he then went after it and he slid in and he won the ball back. And I just thought, clearly the squad at the moment is lacking real quality, but just you can't really put a price on that kind of attitude at the moment, and that's exactly what we need, and I thought he brought that to the game. So I'm with you 100%. It has to be Donovan on Sunday. I've just got a wee kind of further update, not really much here, just Brendan Rodgers to the written media in the press conference, just saying, it looks like hamstrings for Iheanacho and Johnston. And he was also asked about Dyson Maida. He says, I don't know, I'll find out tomorrow. So Friday is today as everyone's watching it. The Iheanacho stuff as well is a blow, because he's kind of our only real striker that we have at the moment. I thought Johnny Kenny worked really hard. I thought his movement was really good, clearly, because he got in the end of a few chances. I'm just not convinced at all that he's a starting Celtic striker. And, when that big chance comes, is he going to take it on Sunday? But maybe we don't need to linger in that, Scott. It was a lot better from Celtic. I felt even in the first half when we were behind in that game and things were looking really bleak with the injuries, and as I say, that brilliant Sturm Graz goal in Celtic Park was turning a little bit. I was still thinking it had been an improvement in performance. I didn't think we were playing particularly badly. It's just that final third, I think, that we really lack quality. And I still go along with that, because the 2 goals we get are from corners. So that's still a big concern for me, that front third. But I thought midfield worked a bit better, a good bit better. I thought Arnie Engels, for me, was our best player. Again, I think there's always a tendency to go to the 2 extremes. Arnie Engels is either awful or he's an absolute standout. I thought he had a good game. I want to see more now from Arnie Engels, but I think there's no doubt in my mind anyway that he made a difference to that midfield. I thought it's the best that midfield's looked in a while. Still with question marks over Hatate, but I thought Callum McGregor had a really good game as well.
Yeah, that's something I noted as well. I thought that was probably, it's not vintage Callum McGregor, but it's more the quality we expect from him. He was bossing guys around. He was finding the passes. He was tracking back. But there wasn't that negativity that we've sort of come to see from his play this year, where he just gets that pass it back, and does that for half an hour. It was really quite positive. Our forward movement today was really good. I didn't expect Sturm Graz to give us that much space. They didn't exactly park the bus, but the avenues to pass were there, and we were working hard to get into. Again, something we haven't seen nearly enough of this year. And to your point, like, the final third is clearly the problem. There were plenty of good crosses that in previous years you would have seen Maeda or Kyogo or pretty much anyone poach a goal off a back post or something. Yeah. Engels had his header saved off the line. Negrin misses an open chance in that first half with a wide open net, doesn't even draw a save off the keeper. And you start to think we're doing everything right, but put it in the net. But I mean, it was positive play. So you sort of felt like it's going to be one chance and we see how we go. Maybe we could salvage a draw because that Sturm Graz goal was an absolute ripper. I don't think Schmeichel was ever in a position to save that anyway. But to have
he was a long way away from it though, wasn't he?
Was. Yeah. He looked a little ropey tonight, Schmeichel, I think. That confidence isn't quite there. I don't think he's got that confidence in himself, but that could be because we're an unhappy squad. But yeah, it was a good response when we did go a goal down. And that was always going to be the test too. You've dominated, you've gone down. How do you respond? When we saw that against Dundee, the response wasn't particularly great or encouraging. I was encouraged by how we responded after going a goal down, dominating the game. And we continued that on. And that 10 minutes before half time, we really just needed someone to take that a chance that was created because there were plenty of them.
We created so many chances. I think a lot of them fell to Negrin or Kenny. Tati had one right at the start of the second half. I think my big frustration with these chances, and it was the same at Dens Park at the weekend, it's not as if these big chances are going begging because goalkeepers are making brilliant saves. I think that young goalkeeper they had tonight made a couple of good saves. There was one from a corner, I think when we were already 2-1 up, that he I can't remember who headed it, but he made quite a good save, maybe Scales. But generally, when we're getting these really clear-cut chances, we're not even hitting the target. Like that Hatate one at the start of the second half is a great chance, and he balloons it over the bar. And Negrin, I think, had 3 before his goal that got easier as they went on. And I don't think he hit the target with any of them. And Kenny had a few that one early on, where he does really well to win the ball and drives, and he's really direct and everything you want to see. But put it in the net and he drags it wide and just wide, but those are the fine margins. So I think really positive that we created chances. I thought the left-hand side of the team looked really good. I think Tenecti's not quite as electric as he was early on, and I do have question marks about his end product. Now, as you say, part of that might be that there's guys not getting on the end of it, and he's maybe is putting good balls into the box, and Kenny or Negrin or whoever else isn't quite getting on the end of it. But I thought the left-hand side of the team with Tenecti and Tierney, that's the best I've seen those two look. I thought they linked up quite well. We were getting Tenecti into good areas. Tierney, again, without being spectacular. I don't know what you think. Maybe his best game that he's had back with us. I thought, Kieran Tierney looked really good. Liam Scales was solid as well. So I think there was lots to be happy about, but I guess coming back, when you're behind, up against it, that could be a major moment for this team. We might look back on this game as being a huge one.
So I had Scales as probably one of my best on the field today. I thought he was really solid in defence when called upon, but his passing today, his distribution was really good because he was passing on angles and it was generally going forward. There was none of it going all the way back to Schmeichel unless it really had to. And his goal was class. That was a really, really good finish. Great corner, but a really, really good finish. And that's what you want from your attackers. Like, it shouldn't be left to a central defender to get that done for you and show you the way.
Do you not feel that's the kind of thing we've not really been doing? Just a bit of imagination, taking a corner quickly. I just felt like there was just a bit more zip in our play tonight for whatever reason, but it has to last. Did you see the stat about Liam Scales that he's now scored in the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League? The Conference League wasn't for Celtic; it was for Shamrock Rovers. But I heard that stat. I was going, that's quite a cool thing. I wonder if anyone else has done that. There probably will be someone, but pretty cool to have scored in obviously the Champions League, Europa League, and the newly launched Conference League.
If there is, it's probably someone from Bodo, right? Because they've played in all 3 conferences.
Yeah.
I can't think of too many others. I don't think Victoria Pilsen or someone like that has played in all 3. So, yeah, he bobs up occasionally when we really need something. That's the other thing. Like we've gone through periods and seasons where we've needed someone to finish off some work, and quite often it seems to be Liam Scales that bobs up with a header. That's my feel anyway. He cops a lot, and sometimes it's quite rightly deserved, and I've probably been guilty of it too. But I actually think, in terms of improvement, he's one of our most improved players this year, I think, on the main, which may not be saying a lot, but I liked his approach tonight, and it was a positive mindset, and hopefully they can take that on to weekend because they're going to be under the pump from the go against Hearts.
The two goals we scored were both set pieces. Just obviously the first one's as we say, is a kind of work thing, but the second one, just what a ball in from Arnie Engels, like just terrific. And he had a few of them tonight. I don't know if something had changed or if it's just Sturm Graz were particularly vulnerable to set pieces, but I felt for the first time in ages, like every time we got a set piece, we were a bit of a threat, and that's obviously something that we need to find any ways to score at the moment. So positive that that's happening. Still like to see us working more from open play and taking those chances when they come. Do you see the quote from the manager after the game? He's saying, "Tonight we weren't quite the Ferrari, but a Range Rover Sport. Hopefully we have no more Morris Minors in terms of performance." So Brent, he pretty laid back, I think, after the game. I'm not sure personally I would have been revisiting those comments but he's he also, I heard him asked in I think it was a TNT interview about the comments, and he was saying basically sometimes, I've not got the exact quote, but sometimes you need to be harsh to be fair or something like that. And he was saying, these players are adults, they're men, they're playing for Celtic, it's not all easy, and sometimes you need to kind of G them up a little bit. So, possibly people have kind of taken his comments as being a death knell for the squad and motivation and all of that, but potentially, it could work the other way. Red card for Sturm Graz. Any thoughts on that? It was the referee had the red card out quicker than anything.
Well, that put us in a position we're not often in too, where we've got a lead and a player up. It was certainly a red. It's studs on the shin above the ankle, so you can't have too many complaints about it, especially in Europe where the tolerance level is a lot lower than what we're used to. I think in the main we handled that pretty well. We didn't go for the jugular, and we probably didn't need to, and we probably haven't got the personnel to do that at the moment. But I think we managed that, whatever it was, 20-odd minutes or so with the man up properly. We managed that well. There were a couple of silly free kicks to give away that allowed them to lob balls in the box, but in the main, I thought we handled that period of time quite well, still controlled the game. So I was happy with that.
I thought the referee had a few crazy calls late on in the game. Like, it obviously doesn't matter because we won, but the free kick he gave against Liam Scales, I thought was just mad. And then there was one a few minutes later where I think it's Johnny Kenny
Engels?
potentially, and then there's the one where
Or he dives
Hattati
at
gets
him.
the ball. Hattati gets the ball, and Hattati slides the ball through to Balikwisha, who's in on goal, and the ref brings it back. And then it showed the replay, and I was like, there was no foul at all there. So, and there was, I think there was another one as well where they got the free kick just at the edge of the box that the guy kind of put over the bar. But I just thought there was a few really, really strange decisions. But to be honest, other than that, we were just incredibly secure. I was kind of expecting a bit more from Sturm Graz. Top team in Austria, beat the might of Rangers in the last game. So, but again, they are bottom of the table. But I was expecting a bit more from Sturm Graz. But then again, maybe we made them look pretty ordinary.
Yeah, they never really came out at us though. That's the thing. Like, they didn't exactly park the bus, but they didn't come at us. And they let us play our game, but they left the gaps open for us to exploit as well. It was really odd. I thought they would find a different setup in the second half or something, because going into the second half, we had 23 touches in their 18-yard box to 7. And it's like, you'd surely change something to try and arrest that momentum away. They didn't really seem to do that at all. They could possibly have hit us on the counter, but they looked less less dangerous going forward on the counter than Dundee did on the weekend, and we were scrambling. So, it's a bit odd. I like you expected a lot more, not Real Madrid lot more, but like quite hard and competitive. And it's sort of almost they played bruise-free football. They didn't really go in hard at anything. I don't know. It was just an odd one for me because they're not that far below in a level that we should be able to be that dominant.
Well, they were in the Champions League last season, and I always think, like, when you think of Austria, you think Red Bull Salzburg, and clearly Salzburg have fallen a bit if Sturm Graz are now the dominant team. But you always think of Salzburg as being a real, top European team. So I was expecting Sturm Graz to be a really good side, and I just thought we dominated them. I was having the thought of, God, there's a huge gulf between the Champions League and Europa League. And if we just had stuff together a bit more and had backed the manager properly and, had a better squad to work with, I just think this Europa League, we could potentially look at going on a bit of a run. As it is, like, it's a big win because we're off the kind of the mark in terms of victories. We're up to 21st in the giant table. 4 points, probably needing another 7 points from 5 games to make the knockout. So I would suggest that's doable, although I think our fixtures as we go on get tougher. We've got like Roma and Feyenoord and Bologna, and in fact our next game, Scott, which is away to Midtjylland, who are currently the best team in the Europa League. They're top of the table with 3 wins from 3 matches. They beat Maccabi Tel Aviv tonight, 3-0 as well.
Shame.
So they're a few late goals there, to be fair, so it maybe flattered them slightly. But yeah, they're top of the table. Braga, interestingly, are second. But Rangers bottom. Utrecht are second bottom, and we play Utrecht at home. So that's a game potentially you're looking at, 3 points in that game, hopefully. Interesting, I'm just seeing Red Bull Salzburg are third bottom with 0 points from their first 3 games, so they clearly aren't the same team that they were. But that's the Europa League situation. Midtjylland away, next game's going to be really tough because they are, as I say, three
I
wins
think you could
from
be
3.
happy if you took a point off them.
Yeah, so a point would move us on to 5. You're then, though, you're needing a couple of wins from our final 4. Utrecht could be one, and then you've got Bologna away, Feyenoord away, Roma at home, needing to win one of those.
Yeah, Roma lost today, though.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they were at home, the Victoria Pilsen, so, they might be gettable.
Yeah, they're behind us, Roma.
Yeah, so if we didn't pick up a win today, I think you could probably say that we wouldn't be getting through the next stage. A win today puts us back on track. I think so long as we're not losing, I think, like, if we go away to Midtjylland, who's always been a team we've struggled against historically, like, if I think we can be relatively happy if we could take a point away there and then win our games at home, then I think we'll be okay. Like, it's still a mountain to climb because we shouldn't have lost the way we did against Braga, but I mean, you can't change that now. But we might be able to pick up a win away too somewhere as well. So, time will tell. Hopefully we have a good January window and we might be able to pick up a win or two on the back end of it. But we won't hold our breath there too. But yeah.
What about the big one then on Sunday against Hearts? I mean, obviously positive that we won the game against Sturm Graz, but clearly the injury stuff, you're not going to see Iheanacho, you're not going to see Johnston. I don't think you're going to see Maida. And real question marks over Carter Vickers, you would have to say. So if you're without those 4, becomes really tough at Tynecastle. Like, it feels like we're really up against it. Now, that might bring out the best in Celtic. Like, how many times have we seen it in the past that it seemed like domestically things have been kind of going against us and we've turned up with a big performance? I've still, got doubts whether that big performance is there, but a win tonight, it just shows how, one game can just change how you feel about things. Like I suddenly whereas I was really dreading Sunday against Hearts, I suddenly now feel a bit of, I don't know if excitement is the right word, but I feel something there. I'm really up for this game, and everyone kind of talking up Hearts and slagging us off, and with good reason. And look, I've been doing a lot of slagging Celtic off, the players, and a lot of people watching this. It's not as if it's coming from elsewhere, but also, wouldn't it be amazing if we could go to Tynecastle and win with all of these things against us? Is that possible when you're missing Johnston, Iheanacho, Maida, potentially Carter Vickers, Jota obviously as well, and playing really poorly generally? Is a win possible here? Again, are you thinking a draw is a good result? What do you think?
A win would be brilliant, of course. And I think some of our best performances have come when we've made a lot of changes. Think back to Aberdeen, Falkirk. I mean, Hearts is a different proposition, but if you're making 6, 7, 8 changes to a squad, that's quite substantial. And you could potentially undo yourself doing that. But some of it, that Aberdeen one at the back end of last season, like that was beautiful. And I don't know why we didn't look to play something similar in the cup final a couple of weeks later, knowing the trouble that caused them. But look, I think Donovan gets the start at back. If you need to put Dane Murray in, I think you can trust him. He's going to have Scales next to him, so there's an old head back there to help, guide the youngster around in certain situations.
Does Tierney play again 3 games in a week, or do you go Sriracha?
Ooh, I think Sriracha's played big games too, hasn't he? So look, I'll be Brendan Rodgers. Yes, he plays. Yes, he gets the start. I think our problem will be, can we have enough quality to put a chance away? Because we're going to get chances.
Yeah. If it falls to
that's
Kenny,
the big question. If
do
it
you
falls
have
to
faith?
Kenny,
Yeah,
and what, like Shinya Mata is going to come on, right? You'd think.
Yeah, he'll be on the bench, definitely.
Yeah. But so he'll get, 20, 30 minutes. If a chance falls to those guys, they have to put it away. Like, it's the understatement of the year. It's so obvious.
So what's the rest of your team?
And that's going to be the difference.
So your front three will be Kenny, Konechty on the left. Who are you playing on the right, and who are you playing as your midfield 3? I think James Forrest have a shout to start on the right.
Why not? Why not? I was sort of thinking about who can we chuck in if we had a bad result today. Who can we chuck in, because things are getting a bit desperate. So our hands being forced now. So I think you need some pace in the game early, because we really do lack pace. He's a busy player, and you could. I mean, Luke McCowan's in a sort of a similar play in terms of how busy and energetic he can be on the field. I mean, McCowan comes in off the bench later on in the game, but I think you can start Forrest. I think you can trust him in a game like this. He can play that position. Everyone else is a Band-Aid solution, because they're not, they're not right-sided
or Yang
players. No, you're not playing Yang.
Sorry, I mean everyone else is a Band-Aid solution, or their name is Yang, and they're clearly not good. I think midfield for me, I think I'd go with the same midfield. I think they've earned another shot. I like Balikwisha's attitude. I think he's just slowly showing us something. There was a moment tonight when he charged back and won the ball, and he had that shot where he just kind of slices it a little bit high and wide. I wonder if Balikwisha could be in line for a start. But then again, I'm thinking, knowing what Brendan's like, will he just go with Nygren again on the right, given that he started Nygren tonight? I wouldn't be surprised if, injuries aside, it's quite a similar team. But it's a huge game. I mean, you must be up for this one on Sunday. Like, it's a big game, and we need another result. We need to prove that this result wasn't a one-off and we can really build on it.
Yeah, I got Hearts mates who are just chomping at the bit to give it to me on Sunday, particularly if they got up. But I'm not there yet. I'm somewhat apprehensive because we've had so many false dawns where we'll get a good result or put in a good performance and then we back it up with something just like last weekend. If they can't get up for this though, we might have to perform CPR on the squad or something. Give them an electric shock. I don't know, but
I think they'll be up for it after
have
tonight.
To be up for it. Have to be. And, it's going to be tough. Like, Hearts are actually playing good football. It's not just like they're playing, teams lower in the ladder and battering them. There's a bit of that, but they're actually good. And so we're going to have to be at our optimum to take it to them. That crowd at Tynecastle is going to be up and about. It'll be rocking from kickoff. So, we're going to have to handle that. They're probably going to get some chances early. We're going to have to keep them scoreless, and then we're going to have to take our chances when they come. And they will come. It's just whether or not we can put them away.
But again, this is Celtic. We are Celtic. We are the big dogs of Scottish football. Like, the players, as much as we're missing players and we're out of form, generally speaking, the players should be relishing this. What an opportunity to go to a team that's been talked up by everyone with good reason. Hearts have been brilliant, and I don't particularly like Hearts, but I like the fact that we've got this game on Sunday and we're going to a team and it feels like they could beat us, because I've been kind of calling out for that, for ages in Scottish football, that a lot of the time we've been playing these games has felt a sense of inevitability that we'll just rock up and win. Sundays, like, it feels almost like a kind of mini derby in many ways, and that anything could happen. We could win, they could win, it could be a draw. Bring it on. I just hope tonight has given the team something, because, God, if we go to Tynecastle and win on Sunday, everything flips. How we're feeling about virtually everything flips. Obviously not the off-field stuff, but in terms of how we're feeling about Brendan Rodgers and the team and the players, we'll feel so differently if we can go to Tynecastle and win. But equally, if we turn up and lose, then all the tonight's game's kind of not going to be spoken about very much. So yeah,
it's nice being the underdog for a change, isn't it?
Do you think we genuinely are the underdog?
You know what? I think with the mood about the place, where the squad's at, there's clearly some guys who are unhappy. Brendan's had a shot at the squad as well. I think everyone is rooting for Hearts to win on the weekend. So I think that makes us the underdog. I know we're the big club and we're the defending champions and we're Celtic and, all the history and all of that. But I think for just this fixture, we're going in as underdog. And that's kind of nice, because we rarely get that these days, where we're the underdog, unless we're playing in Europe, playing like a Bayern Munich. And we know how the result wasn't what we wanted at the end, but the performance was brilliant, right? So they gotta embrace that, I think, and run with it on the weekend and just, play like it's your last one. Because a loss means we're 8 points down and there's a long way to go before the window opens and maybe we get something in. So we can't fall that far back. But I don't know. I kind of like that we're underdog. It makes me really freaking nervous though. And I don't like that. I like being more confident, but we'll see how we go. They'll surprise us, I think. I think Celtic will surprise us on the weekend.
For good or for bad, we will be surprised watching this Celtic team. Bring it on. Can't wait for it. Going to do a video tomorrow as well, everyone. So send in your thoughts, please. Let me know how you're feeling about this game. Are you up for it? Are you nervous? Are you confident? Do you think we're going to see a huge Celtic result, or is it going to just be another false dawn and we'll be back to the dire stuff? Let me know. I will go through some of them tomorrow. I'll pick my team, although we've kind of done a lot of that, and whatever else. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks, Scott, for your time, and I'll catch up with you all very soon.